start with the end, right? Which is this idea that the Kalecki equation effectively assures that it goes back to the private sector. And I think there's almost no dispute that that's true, right? That the dynamic of the Kalecki equation is that any government surplus or deficit spending, to be more accurate, right? Government spending more than it is taking in is going to make its way into the private sector, but it doesn't have to make it into the capital class by any stretch of the imagination, right? How you choose to do that is going to have a huge impact. What constraints you place and what policy you put in place, right? So among other things, it can go to the foreign sector, not necessarily to the domestic corporate sector, right? You can change that by changing your tariff policies, your trade policies, right? It can go to the corporate sector, but it doesn't have to go to the corporate sector. It can be a direct transfer to the household sector. They can then choose to save or to spend, right? And express their preferences in that manner, right? You can have redistributive taxes where those at the higher income levels are taxed more, and that is a direct redistribution into the lower classes, right? So there's all sorts of choices that you can make on the policy dynamic that guides the way the system is going. And unfortunately, what I would suggest has happened by and large at this point is that we have become so enamored with the idea of meritocracy and current outcomes being demonstrative of capability, right? Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the world, or I guess actually, here's the irony, I think Elon Musk is currently the richest man in the world, right? And that is supposed to speak to his capability. That is evidence of his capability, right? Well, if Elon Musk didn't have 17 children or however many he has, right? If he had a single child and that child were to inherit that, would that then be indicative of that child's success? No, it would not. It would be indicative of his social status, right? It would be indicative of the genetic origins of his wealth. We have systems that are like that in history, right? We have systems of nobility and aristocracy that have enabled that sort of behavior, but we don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. And we can recognize that a system that not only socializes losses, but also recognizes that socializing gains can play an important role in building robustness of the society, I think is actually a really important conversation to begin having.